We are going to start this craft off with 2 candle holders and 3 mix-match plates. You can actually find all of these at the dollar store or use things that you already have in your house. Roll out your fake grass. Line a plate up close to the edge and use a piece of chalk to make a circle around it. It's best to have the plates flipped over as you do this if the plates have a natural indent on them. Lift the first plate and put down the second plate. Trace around the plate and cut these both out. Follow the chalk lines to create as close of a shape to the plate. As you go, brush the edges of the fake grass off that you have cut so the extra fake grass that might be on the sides can fall off and not create more of a mess. After all 3 of these pieces of fake grass are cut out, there might be a big mess left behind. You might want to quickly vacuum all of the cut up grass. Now that all these pieces are cut, line up the candle holder with the middle size piece. Flip the candle holder over so the shorter end is facing down. Use chalk to outline the candle holder. Cut up to the chalk line. Cut out the middle circle. After this is cut, see how it fits on your candle holder. You may need to cut a bit more if it doesn't lay properly when lined up with the plate. Cut the fake grass a bit more if you need to and shape it more, and then line it back up again. If you are happy with how it looks, move on to the next piece. For the largest bottom piece of fake grass, line it up with the candle holder and center it. Use chalk to create an outline. Cut the fake grass and follow the outline. Line up the candle holder with the fake grass to make sure it looks good. Center your candle holder onto the bottom plate and glue it down. Create a seal with hot glue by going around the edges with a generous amount. After it's secured, test it and lift it. Line up the grass and glue it down. Place the next plate and create a hot glue seal again. Now keep in mind when you're making this craft, if you want this piece to be outside, you might want to consider different type of glue. Hot glue tends to not hold up properly in the elements, or hold up for that long. Line up the next candle holder and check with the fake grass to make sure it lines up. Hold the candle holder in place and create a seal with hot glue. Make sure it's secure by lifting it. Place the fake grass. Glue the fake grass down. Put hot glue in the center under the grass to keep it from lifting. Place and glue the last plate. Make sure everything is fully secured. Glue down the fake grass. Place flowers in a cluster by stacking them on each other and gluing them down. You can also place flowers randomly by gluing them in the fake grass on all levels. Put a topper down. I am using my fairy house that I made for another Hometalk project. You can actually go and see this video on how to make this over on my profile. Lastly, add some gnomes. They will make this a lot cuter. Place your stacked fairy tower in your home and admire your new cute decoration.
Take a planter, flip it over, and move it to the side on your terracotta bottom. Take some multi-purpose glue that you can use indoor and out, and glue all the points that'll touch the bottom of your pot down to the terracotta. Make sure to use a generous amount, and then let it sit for just about 30 minutes. While you're waiting for the base to dry, start breaking up some pine cones. Start at the top of the pine cone and make your way down slowly. You can break them off by easily peeling the pieces back. You're going to want a couple pine cones. Some of the pieces will crack when you're peeling them off, but that's okay. You can always use more of the pine cones. If you used fresh pine cones, a good way to remove a bunch of the sap is by putting some salt into your hands and a little bit of dish soap and rubbing it together and then rinsing them off. Now that I have a lot of the sap off of my hands, I'm going to move on to the next planter and start gluing the pine cone pieces on. You're going to want to start off at the bottom of your container. Put a little bit of hot glue onto the top of your piece of pine cone and then slowly press it onto the bottom. From there, keep putting pieces of pine cone on until you go all the way around. Leave just about 1 inch at the bottom and start to put some hot glue down. On that piece of hot glue, glue down a little bit of pine brush. And make sure to glue down the bottom as well. And then cut off any extra pine needles that hang too low from the bottom. You can also trim the top a little bit to make everything even. Continue putting pieces of pine cone on. Overlap the last layer with the next. Avoid putting pine cone over where the pine needles are. That's actually going to be a door. When you get over to where the pine needles are, start to border it with pieces of pine cone. Make sure to not overlap it fully and totally. For the top of the pine needles, overlap the pieces of pine cone just slightly to hide the top. Now that this portion of the container is covered fully, we're going to put it off to the side and then go back to the bottom. For the bottom portion, I'm going to fill the terracotta with a little bit of dirt and spread it out evenly. And I'm going to fill in that area with a little bit of moss. If you don't want to fill your terracotta with moss, you can always leave it empty and have a double bird bath. You're going to want to fill this container, but don't fill it fully to the top. Leave a little bit of space so the other container can sit. Once your container is full enough, but not fully and totally to the top, spread out some of the dirt and rock. And then take your next container and line it to the side. Make sure it lays flat. And you're going to want to secure this top portion in place. I'm using some metal skewers. The holes that are in the bottom here are perfect for pushing these through. You could always use wood dowels, or you could use something else by drilling a hole in the bottom of your container. You will also want to weigh this down a little bit by adding a couple rocks and or some dirt. For this top section here, you're going to want to use a generous amount of glue. Go around the entire top and then press on a plastic basin. This is going to take about 30 minutes or so to dry, so wait patiently. To secure the basin even further, add some glue around where it sits on the pot. When the top is drying, decorate the bottom container. I'm using a little bit of moss just because it'll grow very well into the dirt and rock that's there. You can also use more rocks, or you can always use foliage from outside. Before I bring this outside, I'm going to add a little bit more decoration and just simply line the bottom of this container and the next container up with some rocks. Now that our bird bath is fully decorated and the top is dry, it's time to bring it outside. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!